A very dear mentor of mine, Dr. Joe, he's a gritty, like gray-haired Sicilian man that's always told me what I needed to hear versus what I wanted to hear. Uh, he taught me about 20 years ago, before I was even, thinking about kids. I was still a kid, and I still am in a lot of ways. And he said to me one time, he said, Bobby, as you evolve as a leader, as you evolve and become a parent, he said, he said, remember, one of your responsibilities is to make sure that you prepare your children for the path, not prepare the path for them. And I felt like that was a powerful lesson that I've tried to embed into everything that I do. And one of the things that he taught me was, he said, make sure you tell people that you're proud of them, but also ask them, are you proud of yourself? Because when you're proud of yourself, it just builds this energy and this esteem in you. And I hope you all are really proud of yourself, because you're doing some amazing things. And I know we call it the customer summit, but it's your summit, because you're the ones doing the good things out there. And so we're proud of you, and I hope you're incredibly proud of yourself. Please give yourself a big round of applause. You're doing some great things. So I don't speak hint, but I feel like I speak 3 languages. So I speak English, Spanish, and story. And I'm always looking for a good story. I just love stories. And like, we all love stories. Our kids love stories. And the last day and a half, I feel like I'm leaving with so many opportunities to tell more stories, right? The hot dog one I'm going to try to forget, like real hard. Yeah, you too, Jim? And I'm just so glad I didn't go get the chicken. I'm really glad I didn't go get the chicken. So I want to tell you a final story in closing. It's about my coconuts. I tell stories about my coconuts. Mom's Norwegian, and so I say they're brown on the outside like dad and white on the inside like mom. So they're my coconuts. And this story is about my middle coconut, Griff, and he's the one in red on the far right. Man, he's gritty, he's mischievous, just like mom. And Griff, I'm making little mountain people out of my coconuts. And we're outside, rain or shine, and winter's a really fun time for us, because we get out in the mountains. And this one particular weekend, we went inner tubing. So if you've ever taken your kids inner tubing, they have to drag this massive tube up a hill, and this place that we went to, it had imagine 6 big lanes. But right down the middle was kind of like this separator. There was 3 on the left and 3 on the right. And you get a 2-hour block to get in as much inner tubing as you can. And so we get there, we show up early, we're excited, and we're one of the first ones there. And so we go right to work. And the tube's bigger than my kids. And they're each in their own tube, and I'm following them down. It was just them and I again. I'm trying not to lose one. And we start tubing. And when we got there, we went all the way to the far right. And we went down a couple of runs before people started, catching up, and then the lane started filling up. And then we went to go start doing some more runs, but as it got more crowded, the kids were getting frustrated because, hey, they're jamming up my fun. And so when you get down on the far right at the very bottom, there was this conveyor belt where, you could hook up your tube to a latch, and it would help drag your tube all the way up to the top. But you can imagine, as more people got there, it got jammed up. And so it kept getting backed up and backed up and backed up. And so we came down after about our 4th run, and I'm sitting there, and Sophia goes one way, Santino goes another way, and I look around, I'm like, oh shoot, where's Griff? And I look, and little man's going around the other side, heading left. And so we were on the first 2 lanes on the right, and he's going way over there. And I'm like, hey, Griff, where you going, buddy? And he just turned around and looked at me. did like he always does, ignored me, and he took off. And so I'm like, oh, and the line was all jammed up, and so I had no choice. I grabbed Santino and Sophia, and I'm like, come on, guys, let's go. And we followed Griff. Well, you look around to the left, and it's like straight up, and there's no conveyor belt. And there's a bunch of teenage kids that were dragging their own tubes up. Well, it was uphill, but it was shorter. And so we started going around that other side. And man, poor Griff is like dragging his tube all the way up. He can barely get it up. And I had my own, and so we're like wrestling, trying to get them all up. Well, as we were going up, you know, there were some really cool, well-mannered teenage kids. You know, they'd kind of help us, and we'd push along, and we'd get up there. But there was hardly anybody on that other side. And so you'd have to hump it and get up to those lanes, but we were getting runs in, and we were just getting a lot of runs in. And we'd get down, winded, get back up, and before you know it, the 2 hours just flew by. And man, we're exhausted, we're spent, and as we're leaving, there was a tension that was coming from a lot of people that had been tubing. They're like, oh, this line was too long, it took so long, I can't, they got to fix that conveyor belt, blah, 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 you know, all kinds of noise. We were excited, kids were starving, we were spent, and we were as happy as could be. And we get in the car and we take off, and we're just telling all kinds of stories about the runs. Did you see this one? Did you see this one? Dad, did you see when I did that? And just had an amazing, fulfilling morning. Well, as I reflect back on that story, I think it's a phenomenal metaphor for a choice that we have to make. Like, we always get a choice. Are we going to go left? Or are we going to go right? And sometimes, you know, we're doing our best trying to get things done, and we tend to go in a direction where others go. And sometimes that's frustrating. And you think that you're doing the right thing, you think that you're just doing your best, but we get frustrated, things don't move as fast as we'd like, and you end up not having the type of fulfilling experience that you want. However, sometimes when you choose to go a different direction and take a different path, we tend not to because we see how steep it is and it looks scary. But wouldn't you agree that anything worthwhile is uphill? Like, anything we've ever done in our life that's worthwhile in any way or form, it's uphill. And that's been bulletproof as I reflect on those most fulfilling moments in my journey and in my climb. Anything that I've ever done that's been worthwhile is uphill. It's more tiring, it's exhausting, but you end up getting better stories and you end up feeling a lot better and more proud of yourself. And so, as I reflect on this last day and a half, we wanted to do some things together. And at the beginning I said, if we check these 3 boxes, generosity, connection, and the positive emotions that enable us to help one another, we're going to have a great day and a half. And we're going to have some fun. Maybe not the hot dog, but we're going to have some fun. And now we're at that point where we make a choice. Are we going to go back, and are we going to go left? Or are we going to go right? Because I found that when you do choose to go right, the people that also go right with you, they help you. And if you're struggling to get your tube up that hill, there's always someone there that gets it, that wants to have the same type of experience that you do, and they'll grab onto your rope with you and push it. But my favorite moment from that story, from that morning, was it was like our second to last run, and Griff had made it up to the top. And there'd been this really cool teenage girl that had helped him quite a few times. He got his tube all the way up to the top, and she was just starting. He put his tube down, and he went down, and he helped the girl take it up. And I thought that was such a powerful moment of that afternoon that we were together, because sometimes we question whether or not we have something to give someone that's doing something bigger or they may be stronger. But Griff showed me with that example that he demonstrated that morning that it doesn't matter if you're a little 7-year-old booger eater, you got something to offer. Like, doesn't matter where we are. You can help the big kid, you can help the little kid. Just get on the right path with others that believe what you believe and want to get on that uphill journey with you. And you'll be exhausted on the way home, but you'll be telling amazing stories. So the choice that we got to make now is, are we going to go back and are we going to go left or are we going to go right? Because I believe that you all, if you choose to go right, we become the average of the 5 people that we decide to learn from. And there's so much tremendous knowledge in this room. The people that you choose to connect with and learn from this day forward and ongoing are going to accelerate your transformation. And I think that's a wonderful thing. This African proverb is deeply embedded in our culture code. And I believe it speaks volumes for what we all want in life, in our lives, with Team 1, Team 2. Those times that I've felt alone, it's always been fulfilling and gratifying for me that all I had to do is look up to the people that I surrounded myself with, and I realized that, hey, I'm not alone, and I can go a lot further if I ask for help and if I extend help. And I think as we move forward into your respective summits and your respective climbs, please keep this African proverb in your mind for those that you connected with in the last day and a half, and know that we're honored to be your guide, we're grateful to be your guide, and we will do absolutely anything we can to help you get your tube up to the hill. Thanks for joining us. It's been wonderful. Now let's go get some rest and some sleep. All right? Salut to your climb.